The idea was to come home from vacation refreshed, inspired, and ready to do a super in-depth breakdown of this amazing new pedal, which I've recently just become obsessed with. But then our flight home got delayed, so we missed our connection. And then the rebooked flight got delayed and then canceled. And long story short, we made it home a day and a half late, our luggage a little bit later. So I figured I'd stick with the theme. This is the DOD DFX9 Digital Delay. First guitar was a Reverend Jetstream with the DFX9 and a JHS Morning Glory just to dirty things up a little bit. Then a new to me Ibanez SZ4020 FM with a slightly different set of settings, playing some slightly different things. We explore a lot of early digital era pedals on this channel, and this is a pretty good representation of what was considered cutting-edge technology when I first started playing guitar. The first knob is the wet to dry mix, the second knob is the amount of feedback, and we use these two right knobs to set the amount of delay time. If you didn't catch that, you set the range with the rightmost knob here. There's a couple of detent clicky thingies, and then you fine-tune within that range with knob number 3 right here. All the way to the left, all the way counterclockwise, we've got a range of 3.5 to 15.6 milliseconds. That's short. That's like ridiculously short. It's short enough that we can actually get a flanging comb filtering effect in here. Second notch goes from 13.8 to 62.5 milliseconds. That's for like a slapback or a doubling effect. third notch is 55.5 to 250 milliseconds, a quarter of a second, for those longer rhythmic delays. The fourth notch brings us all the way up to 1 full second because it's digital and we can. The last notch on here gives us infinite repeat. It's essentially the same as the last setting, going up to 1 full second, but hitting this button down here loops whatever's in memory until you shut it off. The idea of a 1 second looper pedal is kind of silly, but it's not impossible. Or the really neat trick was to sync up the pedal's sample length with the song's tempo and then try to grab a loopable section of like a drum break. We used to do that all the time with 9 Inch Nails tracks back in high school. Yeah, I was one of those kids. DOD also released the DFX91, and it adds a sampling mode where the recording doesn't loop, but rather plays back when you hit the foot switch. These both came out way back in 1989, and you know what? I don't have a jingle, but I have the box. And then there's also the DFX94, which had a whopping 4 seconds of memory. In 90s digital terms, that was an eternity. It almost felt excessive. But bragging rights were absolutely essential for those magazine ads. People really wanted the biggest, longest delay. I do find it a little bit interesting that DOD chose to run with a sampler as a feature of their delay pedals, where Boss went in a slightly different direction with these standalone sampling looper things like this SP202 Dr. Sample.
Oh! Baba Booey.
How'd that get on there?
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I know that's technically not a stomp box, but I really think we should do a video about that one of these days. Now, as long as we're talking about history, something else really interesting about this pedal. This was the second guitar pedal that I ever owned. Real fans of the show will know the first. But it was my first delay, and I'm willing to bet that for a lot of viewers around a certain age, it was probably yours as well. Now, trying to describe the sound of digital delay is kind of like trying to describe the taste of water. The whole point of digital audio is that it sounds exactly the same coming out as it did going in, so in theory, the only difference between each repeat should be a decrease in amplitude. In terms of audio quality, this is vastly superior to Bucket Brigade and PT-based delay lines because now our repeats don't need to recirculate through the whole expansion, compression, amplification cycle every time. They live right here in this big honkin' custom DSP chip. I mean, just listen to how the repeats of this Bucket Brigade-equipped carbon copy delay just keep getting darker and darker as they seem to disintegrate into the background. And then it gets even murkier on this PT2395 equipped visual sound H2O. And as a bonus, since it's all digital on that chip, you never have to worry about the feedback loop getting over-amplified and causing a disgraceful instance of self-oscillation. Yeah, I'm just kidding. That was fun as heck. But there was a time when out-of-control delay feedback like that was seen as a fault. Something to be avoided entirely. Why would somebody want that? And then Radiohead recorded Paranoid Android. It all reminds me of something said by Brian Eno. Whatever you now find weird, ugly, uncomfortable, and nasty about a new medium will surely become its signature. CD distortion, the jitteriness of digital video, the crap sound of 8-bit, all of these will be cherished and emulated as soon as they can be avoided. The year is 2043, and the internet is all abuzz about a brand new plugin which claims to create that authentic raw sound of a clipped Focusrite Scarlett audio interface. Warm Audio releases the Crazy Spider pedal, which claims to perfectly emulate the vintage Line 6 Spider Amp's insane mode. Maybe, maybe not, but I think it's pretty easy to imagine a John Mayer type going, oh yeah, for a lot of sob rock, I use this old purple DOD Digital Delay pedal to get a real clean and unaffected straight repeat on that song. And suddenly we've got another Bad Monkey situation. This is one of those rare situations where imbibing in nostalgia was actually enjoyable for me. Usually it's just an itch scratch and then immediate letdown. I had fun, and I'll catch you on the next one.